We start now with a couple of overnight crashes. The first happened on Montano, just west of I-25, after a person was hit and killed by a semi-truck last night. We do know that part of the road is back open this morning. The crash happened just before 10 here at Montano and Culture. Police are not saying much about it, except that the person who was hit died before getting to the hospital. Look for updates on this story later today here on KRQE. And one woman is in the hospital in critical condition right now after what sheriff's deputies say could be a drunk driving crash just north of Santa Fe last night. Sheriff's deputies tell us Sandra Abeda was going south on US 84 285 near Tsuke when she lost control of her car and crashed it. She hurt her head, was unconscious, and rushed to the hospital. Deputies say Abeda was probably not wearing a seatbelt and had open bottles of booze in her car. Well, manhunt in Albuquerque in the South Valley neighborhood last night for a man who led sheriff's deputies on a half-hour chase. This all started about 8 o'clock when deputies spotted two men in a truck driving into curbs. The driver refused to pull over and took off, hitting speeds up to 100 miles an hour. One of those spike strips was set up at I-25 in Isleta. It hit the truck tires and caused it to crash near Pajarito in Isleta. Two men took off running into a neighborhood. We're here. One of them was caught. We've not heard if the other guy was as well. And deputies say, surprise, surprise, that truck was stolen. We now have the night vision video from a helicopter showing San Juan County Sheriff's deputies going after a wanted man. Deputies say they got into a chase with the guy. He ditched his car, then took off running. They went to a house where they thought he was hiding here. It turns out he was actually hiding in the bushes. It's so dark there that officers actually ended up walking by him without even knowing it. But the helicopter's night vision camera helps guide the deputies to the man where they arrested him. They have not released his name or said why he was running. It looks like right there they walk right past him. All right, what looked like an open and shut case with a man caught on camera opening fire on a speed van is still stalled now more than a year later. Santa Fe police arrested and charged Scott Powell last year. They say he is the man in this video shooting at the speed van, damaging the windshield. And Powell says it is not him, and his attorney says that's actually not why the case is dragging on, though.
There were a number of issues, many of them medically related, that Scott had, and we needed to address those issues.
Scott Powell is battling cancer, so he waived his right to a speedy trial. His attorney, Dan Cron, who you just saw, says Powell's been getting treated out of state. He is doing better now. Cron says he's working with prosecutors and expects the case to be resolved very soon. The district attorney's office is now making plans to retry the man charged in an illegal driver's license ring. A jury could not reach a verdict in Gordon Leong's trial in Albuquerque yesterday. Investigators say he was part of a group that was running ads in Chinese newspapers in New York, promising people who came here illegally New Mexico driver's licenses for $1,500 a pop. Leong is facing 110 felony charges. A dad in Albuquerque who badly beat his 3-month-old baby girl will spend 3 decades in prison. Jacob Nichols took a plea deal and pled guilty to first-degree child abuse and agreed to a 30-year sentence. He admits he punched his daughter repeatedly in the chin back in 2010. She had brain damage because of that and was partially paralyzed. The baby's mother, Ashley Gibson, is also charged in the case. The surgeon from Santa Fe who charged in a crash that killed a 4-year-old girl has settled a wrongful death lawsuit in the case. The family of Juliana Reyes Vasquez sued Dr. Deborah Aaron here and her insurance company for the crash that happened in December 2011. Aaron's vehicle hit the van that little Juliana was in and killed her. Her mother and 3-year-old sister were hurt but survived. Blood alcohol tests showed Dr. Aaron was legally drunk at the time, but witnesses couldn't agree on which driver ran the red light before the crash. Aaron ended up pleading no contest to DWI after her vehicular homicide charges got dropped. Attorneys are not saying what was in the settlement. Well, the next phase for the big Mesa Del Sol development in southeast Albuquerque is about to get going. In the next year, Forest City Enterprises will transfer the project to Covington Capital, and Michael Daly, the leader of the team that created the concept of Mesa Del Sol years ago. Forest Covington Enterprises, which started the project back in 2002, had been trying for a year to sell 3,000 acres of land on the mesa. Daly says this means it's full steam ahead for the second phase of the project.
We're opening our dog park, our trail system. We're putting a new exercise area in for our residents. We're also opening a pool. So those are the immediate what's next, but we'll continue to evolve the housing program to meet residents' needs.
The master plan development south of the Sunport calls for 37,000 homes, businesses, and parks. Albuquerque's police and fire department will be getting some new wheels soon. The city announced Tuesday that it's secured money for 13 new police cars and 2 new fire trucks. The state helped pay for them, and the city will get the new wheels in the next year and a half. Today, we could learn the name of a 70-year-old woman found mummified in her condo in Santa Fe. Police say she was a hoarder and hadn't been in touch with her family for years and may have been dead for 6 months. This week, relatives from outside of New Mexico stopped at her condo here at Zia Vista. They opened the door and saw a body surrounded by things she had collected.
Just clutter and junk everywhere. So they couldn't really open the door completely. They kind of said it was lucky that they didn't have to go much further into the apartment to find her because it would have been almost impossible.
Police say the death does not look suspicious, but they are waiting for autopsy results just to be sure. And detectives are waiting to find out how a man died in his apartment in northeast Albuquerque before deciding if foul play was involved there. Officers did a welfare check at the Lakes Apartments here on San Mateo on Monday after getting a call from the man's family. They found the man dead inside. Police say he was in his mid-30s. They have not released his name just yet.